Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Engineering and Technology, SOET, Diploma Postgraduate Diploma Programs, Postgraduate Diploma in Industrial Safety, PGDINDS, Semester 2, MEV-005 Occupational Health and Safely, Block-1 Basic of Health, Unit-1 Concepts of Human Health and Wellbeing, 1.0 Introduction. You have read in details regarding the environment. In this unit, you will learn about various dimensions of health, the principles of causation of diseases and their prevention. It is important to know what health is. An understanding of health is the basis of all healthcare. There are various definitions of health. Probably the oldest definition is the absence of disease. In some cultures, health is also considered equivalent to harmony and defined as being at peace with the self, community, and the universe. However, there is no clear definition of health, and the knowledge of determinants of health is not clear. Modern medicine allegedly focuses much on the study of disease, and the study of health is often neglected. However, over the past few decades, there has been a reawakening that health is a fundamental right which is to be attained by all people. In 1977, the World Health Assembly adopted the target of health for all by 2000, which means that all citizens of the world by the year 2000 AD would attain a level of health that will permit them to lead a socially and economically productive life. However, this target is yet to be achieved. 1.1 Objectives. After going through this unit, you should be able to outline the dimensions of health, enumerate and describe the determinants of health, discuss the concept of causation of disease, enumerate and explain the various indicators of health and disease, and describe the concepts of prevention of disease. 1.2 Changing concepts of health. Over the centuries, the concepts of health have been changing. It was earlier thought to be an individual concern, but later health for all emerged as a global goal. Let us discuss the various concepts of health. 1.2.1 Biomedical concept. According to this concept, health is absence of disease. If a person does not have any disease, he is considered to be healthy. This concept views human body as a machine. Occurrence of disease is viewed as breakdown of machine. The biomedical concept is based on the germ theory of disease, which was the accepted theory in the 20th century. However, this concept is very narrow, as it cannot describe many important health problems like malnutrition, chronic diseases, and accidents among others. Subsequent developments in medical and social sciences highlighted that biomedical concept of health is inadequate because it did not take into consideration other determinants of health like environment, psychological and socio-cultural factors. 1.2 Ecological concept. According to this concept, health is a dynamic equilibrium between man and his environment. Maladjustment of the human beings to the environment leads to disease. The concept emphasizes the role of environment and supports the need for clean air, safe water, ozone layer in the atmosphere, etc. to protect us from exposure to unhealthy factors. It indicates that improvements in human adaptation to natural environment can lead to better health outcomes, irrespective of the availability of modern health care services. 1. 2.3 Psychosocial concept. This concept emphasizes that health is not only a biomedical phenomenon. A number of other factors, i.e. social, psychological, cultural, economic and political factors have an influence on health. 1.2.4 Holistic concept. This concept considers all the three components, i.e. biomedical, ecological, and psychosocial concept. It defines health as a unified or multidimensional process involving the well-being of the whole person in the context of his environment. Holistic concept implies that all sectors of the society have an effect on health. 1.3 Definition of health. Health has been defined in many ways by different agencies from time to time. The Oxford Dictionary defines it as state of being well in body or mind. The Webster's Dictionary defines health as the condition of being sound in body, mind or spirit, especially freedom from physical disease or pain. As defined by Perkins, health is a state of relative equilibrium of body, form and function which result from its successful dynamic adjustment to forces tending to disturb it. It is not passive interplay between body substance and forces impinging upon it but an active response of body forces working towards readjustment. The Constitution of the World Health Organization, July 1948, defined health as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. To this has been added a further clause that includes the ability to lead a socially and economically productive life. However, this definition has faced a lot of criticism for being too broad and difficult to measure. It has been debated that health cannot be defined as a state, as it is not a one-time phenomenon, but a continuous process. Despite the limitation, the definition given by the World Health Organization, WHO, sets out a standard and represents an overall objective or goal that all nations should strive to achieve. It is increasingly being recognized that health is a fundamental human right, is essential to lead a productive life, is intersectoral, and is the responsibility of individuals and nations. 1.4 Dimensions of health. As we have discussed earlier, health is multidimensional. The WHO definition takes into account 3 dimensions: physical, mental and social. Recently, many new dimensions like spiritual, emotional, vocational, etc. have been identified. These different dimensions interact with each other, each having a specific nature. These different dimensions of health are being discussed briefly here. 1.4.1 Physical dimension. This dimension relates to the structure and functioning of the human body. According to this dimension, health is the state of perfect functioning of body, in which every cell and every organ is functioning at optimum capacity and in perfect harmony with the rest of the body. The signs of physical health in an individual include a good complexion, clean skin, bright eyes, lustrous hair, with a body well clothed, with firm flesh, neither too thin nor too fat, a sweet breath, a good appetite, sound sleep, regular activity of bowels and bladder, and smooth, easy coordinated movements. All the organs of the body are unexceptional in size and function normally. All the special senses are intact. The resting pulse rate, blood pressure and tolerance, etc. are all within the range of normality in the context of the individual's age and sex. This dimension of health can be assessed by inquiring about the signs or symptoms of any disease or risk factors, asking about any use of medications, hospitalization, dietary assessment, clinical examination, biochemical and laboratory tests. 1.4.2 Mental dimension. Mental health is not only absence of any mental disorder, but it is a state of balance between individual and surroundings. Earlier, physical and mental dimensions of health were considered as two separate entities. However, research has indicated that both these dimensions are closely interrelated. The old saying, healthy mind in a healthy body, confirms the interrelationship between mental and physical health. Poor mental health affects physical health and vice versa. According to WHO Technical Report, 1964. The psychological factors are considered to play a major role in disorders such as hypertension, peptic ulcer, and asthma. A mentally healthy person is free from internal conflicts and external maladjustments. He is not swayed by emotions and has good self-control. Assessment of mental health is difficult as we do not have precise tools to measure mental health unlike physical health. However, standardized mental health questionnaires are available which can be used by trained interviewers. Mental health is a key to good health. Unfortunately, our knowledge about mental health is limited. 1.4.3 Social dimension. Social health is an aspect of health that includes social relationships as part of broader concept of health. Social well-being means a state of harmony within the individual and other members of the society. A person who plays social roles according to his/her status and is apt in establishing and maintaining harmonious relationship in family and community and at work is considered socially a healthy person. On the contrary, when he fails to perform these roles, neglects social relations, indulges in bad habits and gets involved in homicide, suicide, crime, gambling, drinking, etc., he is considered abnormal. A socially integrated person is less isolated and has a greater sense of empowerment. The regional framework for health promotion in the Western Pacific region 2002-5 stresses the role of social capital in health promotion. Social capital means the trust, social interaction, social connections that a person possesses. The positive social environment is believed to have an important role in good health. 1.4.4 Spiritual dimension. Recently, it has been considered that the spiritual dimension plays an important role in health and disease. Under this dimension, an individual feels committed to some higher being and strives to find the meaning and higher purpose in life. It is a relatively newer concept and is difficult to explain. 1.4.5 Emotional dimension. This dimension relates to the feelings of an individual. Earlier, this dimension was considered as an element of mental dimension itself. However, it is now being seen as a separate element. Besides all these dimensions of health, there are other dimensions, e.g. cultural, socio-economic, vocational, educational, etc. that contribute to the positive health of a person. 1.5 Positive health. Let us now learn the concept of positive health. Positive health describes a state of perfect functioning of body and mind. It is a state beyond the mere absence of disease. It is achieved by a perfect combination of optimal biological, subjective, and functional components. Positive health envisages increase in life expectancy, decreased expenditure on health, better mental health, healthy aging, and better prognosis in case of illness. Thus, perfect positive health is a potential status and not a reality. It has been stated that perfect positive health cannot become a reality because man will never be so perfectly adapted to his environment that his life will not involve struggles, failures, and sufferings. 1.6 Concept of well-being. Well-being of an individual or group has objective and subjective components. Objective components: standard of living, level of living; subjective component, quality of life. 1.6.1 Standard of living. It refers to the usual expenditure, the goods consumed, and the services enjoyed by an individual. It includes the level of educational status, employment, food, clothing, and comforts available to a person. World Health Organization proposed that standard of living is indicated by income and occupation, standard of housing, sanitation and nutrition, the level of provision of health, educational, recreational and other services. 1.6.2 Level of living. This term is used in the United Nations It consists of 9 components: health, food consumption, education, occupation and working condition, housing, social security, clothing, recreation and leisure, human rights. 1.6.3 Quality of life. It refers to a person's subjective feelings of happiness or unhappiness of various concerns of life. It is the condition of life resulting from a wide range of factors that determine health, educational achievement, social attainments, living, environment, freedom of action, and freedom of expression. Quality of life is a combined indicator of physical, mental and social well-being as perceived by each individual or group of individuals. Governments all over the world are now concerned about improving quality of life of the people. Quality of life is subject to measurement. The common indices that are used include physical quality of life and now more commonly the Human Development Index. Let us see what these mean. A. Physical Quality of Life Index, PQLI. PQLI is another index which includes infant mortality, life expectancy at age 1 and literacy. For each of the components, the performance of each country is scored on a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 indicates worst score and 100 represents the best score. PQLI does not consider per capita GNP, indicating that money is not everything. It does not measure economic growth. It can, however, measure social, economic and political policies. The PQLI score of 100 is the ultimately desired objective. B. Human Development Index, HDI. This index is a refinement of the PQLI and combines 3 indicators representing 3 dimensions. Longevity, it is measured as life expectancy at birth. Knowledge, it is indicated by adult literacy rate, mean year of schooling. Income, it is measured by the real GDP per capita, indicating purchasing power parity, PPP, in US dollars. The HDI value ranges from 0 to 1.7 Determinants of health. As we have seen, health is multidimensional. A large number of factors influence health. These factors may lie within the individual or externally in the physical and social environment in which he lives. These factors interact with each other and influence the health of an individual or a group. The important determinants of health include a. Biological determinants. These include the physical and mental traits of human beings, which to some extent are determined by their genetic makeup. Biological determinants are of importance in conditions like obesity, diabetes, chromosomal abnormalities, certain types of cancers, etc. B. Behavioral and sociocultural determinants. These include lifestyle factors. Factors like diet, physical activity, smoking, or use of alcohol are some examples of behavioral determinants of health and disease. C. Environment. This may be the internal or the external environment. The internal environment means various tissues, organs, organ systems and their functioning. The external environment includes all that is external to the individual human host. This environment can be divided into physical, biological, and psychosocial environment. All these components are not separate but closely interact with each other. The socio-economic conditions, economic status, income, education, status in the society are other important determinants of health. E. Health services, availability and access of health care services also affects health status of the community. F. Demography, the composition of population is also a determinant of health. Over the last few decades, the population of older individuals is increasing. This may lead to increase in chronic diseases, and hence health systems need to be prepared for this situation. G. Other factors, these include factors outside the formal health care system. which have a direct bearing on health, e.g. food and agriculture, education, engineering, information technology, etc. 1.8 Indicators of health. A health indicator is a variable that reflects the state of health of the subjects in a community. 1.8.1 Characteristics of indicators. A good health indicator should have the following characteristics. A. Valid. The indicator actually measures what it is supposed to measure. B. Reliable. It gives same result when measured by different people in similar circumstances. C. Sensitive. It is able to detect changes in the given situation. D. Specific. It should reflect changes only in the situation concerned. E. Feasible. It should have the ability to provide information when needed. F. Relevant. It should be related to the concerned situation and contribute to the understanding of the situation or phenomenon of interest. 1.8.2 Use of health indicators. The health indicators are useful for measurement, description and comparison of the health of the community, identification of health needs, and based on that planning of health programs and interventions, allocation of health resources. Measurement of performance of health interventions. 1.8.3 Classification of indicators. There are various types of health indicators. Some of the indicators are used to express death. Some indicators reflect the burden of disease, while some indicators indices tell about the availability and utilization of health services. Broadly, health indicators are classified as below: mortality indicators, morbidity indicators, disability rates, nutritional indicators, health care delivery indicators, utilization rates, indicators of social and mental health, environmental indicators, socioeconomic indicators, health policy indicators, indicators of quality of life, other indicators. Some of these indicators are briefly described here. 1. Mortality indicators. These indicators are related to the lifespan and the deaths in various categories of people. The various mortality indicators are enumerated below: crude death rate, CDR, expectancy of life, life expectancy at birth, age-specific death rates, ASDR, infant mortality rate, IMR, child mortality rate, under 5 proportionate mortality rate, maternal mortality ratio, proportional mortality rate, case fatality rate. 2. Morbidity indicators. These are a set of indicators measuring the extent of sickness. A. Incidence. It refers to occurrence of new events or cases of a disease in a defined population over a specified period of time. B. Prevalence. It is the proportion of individuals in a population who have a particular disease or condition at a specified time. It includes both new and pre-existing, old cases in the given population. 3. Disability indicators. These indicators give an indication of the extent of disability. HALE, Health Adjusted Life Expectancy, CALI, Quality Adjusted Life Year, DALI, Disability Adjusted Life Years. 4. Nutritional Status Indicators. These indicators tell us about the nutritional status of the group. A. Anthropometric measurements of preschool children, weight, height, mid-arm circumference. B. Health care delivery indicators. These indicators tell us about the distribution of health resources in different health care settings. Some of these indicators are doctor population ratio, nurse population ratio, doctor-nurse ratio, population bed ratio, population per PHC sub-center. 1.9 Concept of disease. In the last section, you studied about health and its concepts. In this section, you will be reading about disease. It is important to understand what is meant by disease. There are many definitions of disease. As defined in Webster's dictionary, disease is a condition in which body function is impaired. It is departure from a state of health, an alteration of the human body interrupting the performance of the vital functions. The Oxford English Dictionary defines disease as the condition of body or some organ of body in which its functions are disrupted or deranged. In ecological terms, disease can be defined as maladjustment of human organism to the environment. Simplest definition of disease is opposite to health. The WHO has defined health, but not disease. In fact, there is a spectrum of disease from unapparent, subclinical cases to severe overt disease. Some diseases are acute, e.g. food poisoning, while some are chronic like diabetes, arthritis, etc. 1.10 Concept of causation. Before the discoveries in microbiology, a number of theories of disease causation were in vogue, like a. Supernatural causes and karma, disease due to sins committed by a person. B. Theory of humors. Humor means fluid. Disease is caused due to imbalance of fluids in the body. C. The miasmatic theory of disease. Disease occurs due to bad air. D. Germ theory. This theory gained momentum in 19th and 20th century. It incriminated microbes as cause of disease. E. Epidemiological triad. This is based on the principle that interaction between three types of factors, agent, host and environment, are required to produce a disease. For example, tuberculosis is caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium tuberculosis. However, not everybody exposed to this bacterium suffers from tuberculosis. Certain host and environment factors like malnutrition, overcrowding, etc. come into play to cause tuberculosis. F. Multifactorial causation. As a result of advances in public health and emergence of non-communicable diseases, single-cause idea had to be abandoned as it could not explain the cause of chronic diseases like coronary heart disease, diabetes, cancer, etc. It is now known that these diseases are caused by multiple factors like excess intake of fat, physical inactivity, smoking, etc. The term agent is replaced by causative factors. The multifactorial concept offers multiple approaches for prevention and control of a disease. G. Web of causation. This model was suggested by McMahon and Pugh. This model is ideally suited for the study of chronic diseases, where multiple factors interact with each other to cause the disease. The following figure shows the web of causation for coronary heart disease. 1.11 Natural history of disease. We have seen that disease results from a complex interaction between man, an agent or causative factor, and the environment. The term natural history of disease describes the way in which a disease evolves from its earliest phase of pre-pathogenesis to its termination as recovery, disability, or death. In the absence of treatment or prevention, each disease has its own natural history, which may vary from individual to individual. Let us consider the events that take place in the natural history of disease. Pre-pathogenesis phase. This is the phase prior to involvement of host. The disease agent has not yet entered the host, but the factors which favor its interaction with the human host are already existing in the environment. Pathogenesis phase. The pathogenesis phase begins with the entry of the disease agent in the susceptible human host. The disease agent multiplies and induces tissue and physiological changes. The disease progresses through a period of incubation and later through early and late pathogenesis. After studying the disease process and natural history of disease, let us now discuss the concepts of prevention and control of disease. 1.1 To prevention of disease. Prevention means all actions aimed at eradicating, eliminating, or minimizing the impact of disease and disability. The concept of prevention is best defined in the context of levels, traditionally called primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. There is also a concept of primordial prevention. Let us get a brief understanding of these concepts here. These have been discussed in more details in the Unit 2 of Block 3 Course 5, 1.1 to 1 Levels of Prevention. A. Primordial Prevention. Primordial prevention consists of actions and measures that inhibit the emergence of risk factors in the form of environmental, economic, social, and behavioral conditions and cultural patterns of living, etc. B. Primary prevention. Primary prevention can be defined as the action taken prior to the onset of disease, which removes the possibility that the disease will ever occur. Primary prevention may be achieved by measures of health promotion and specific protection. See Figure 8 for examples of health promotion and specific protection approaches for primary prevention. The WHO has recommended the following approaches for the primary prevention of chronic diseases where the risk factors are established. A. Population mass strategy is directed at the whole population irrespective of individual risk levels. For example, studies have shown that even a small reduction in the average blood pressure or serum cholesterol of a population would produce a large reduction in the incidence of cardiovascular disease. B. High-risk strategy aims to bring preventive care to individuals at special risk. This requires detection of individuals at high risk and then applying measures to prevent the disease in this group. C. Secondary prevention. Secondary prevention is defined as action which halts the progress of a disease at its incipient stage and prevents complications. The specific interventions are early diagnosis, e.g. screening tests, and case-finding programs, and adequate treatment. D. Tertiary prevention. Tertiary prevention is used when the disease process has advanced beyond its early stages. It is defined as all the measures available to reduce or limit impairments and disabilities, and to promote the patient's adjustment to irremediable conditions. Intervention in the stage of tertiary prevention are disability limitation and rehabilitation. Disability is any restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the range considered normal for the human being. Handicap means a disadvantage for a given individual resulting from an impairment or disability that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a role in the community that is normal, depending on age, sex, and social and cultural factors for that individual. Impairment is any loss or abnormality of psychological, physiological, or anatomical structure or function. Rehabilitation means the combined and coordinated use of medical, social, educational, and vocational measures for training and retraining the individual to the highest possible level of functional ability. You may like to understand the terms disability, impairment, handicap, and rehabilitation. These have been explained in the box 1.1. Disability is any restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the range considered normal for the human being. Handicap means a disadvantage for a given individual resulting from an impairment or disability that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a role in the community that is normal, depending on age, sex, and social and cultural factors. Fourth hat individual. Impairment is any loss or abnormality of psychological, physiological, or anatomical structure or function. Rehabilitation means the combined and coordinated use of medical, social, educational, and vocational measures for training and retraining the individual to the highest possible level of functional ability. Box 1.1. Terms associated with tertiary prevention. 1.13. Summary. In the present unit, we have learnt about the definition of health, different dimensions of health, and various factors that influence the health of a person. We also studied various indicators of health, the concepts of causation of diseases, various theories of diseases causation, stages of disease in host have also been discussed. Finally, we studied various levels of prevention of disease. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.